So now that I'm all done editing my video, I can export the film into one video file that can be submitted onto Canvas. Because right now we just have a Premiere project file. We don't have the whole, just one file that we can play. So first, we have to make sure that our timeline is selected, specifically the sequence we want. So we have different sequences here. So if we wanted to just export scene 5, we could. We just have to make sure it's selected. But we want to export the whole thing. So we're going to click on Final Cut and make sure that's there. Then we're going to go File, Export, Media. And this will open up a new window. On the left hand of the window, you can preview the video without audio. So you can use this scrub bar that allows you to go through the whole video and double check that everything looks correct. Basically, it's just best to check that your in and out looks about right, because it should start black and end black, and then just make sure that everything's kind of in there, just stopping at random sections. You can't play it or anything, so you can only do a little bit of checking. Underneath that, you have the source range. This allows you to change what you want to export, entire sequence, the sequence in and out, so you can make in and out work, in and out points, and then work area. We want to do the entire sequence, which is the same as sequence in and out if you don't have in and out points selected. Then on the right side, there are plenty of other options. These first two are the important ones. First, there is format. There are many different types of format that Premiere can export to. We don't need to understand them all because we'll just be using one, which is H.264, also known as .mp4. The second is the preset. There are also many of these, depending on different things that you want to use. We're just going to do match source high bitrate. Below this, you can find the Final Cut, or whatever your sequence is named. And this is the output name. If you click on it, it opens to show where you're going to export your file. So yes, we want to export the file into the project folder that we have, but then we can also name it. So then we can name this instructor film, Final Cut. And I think that's a good name for it. Below that, there are many other detailed settings that you can play with. It's too advanced for this course, so we're not going to go into any of this, but there's a lot of stuff that you could look into. After that, you just have to click this export button, and the film will begin to export. The more edits and footage you have in the film, the longer it will take to export. You can additionally click the queue button, which will put your film in a queue for exporting multiple videos using Adobe Media Encoder. We won't be using this, but it is helpful when you're exporting many different videos. You can queue them into the Adobe Media Encoder, which is another application that you have with the Adobe suite. Once you begin exporting, your computer won't be able to process anything else really, because it takes a lot of the computer's processing power. So plan your exporting accordingly. So I'll click export. Once the exporting is finished, the video file will just be there, and you can double click it and play on it. This final video file, after you've finished all of your editing, is what you'll be submitting. You will not submit this project file, because the way Premiere works is it references all this other stuff. So Premiere needs all of this footage and assets for it to recognize. So if you submit this project file, it's not going to do anything for us. You have to export the final video and then submit the .mp4, which then can be played on any computer as long as you have the file. So that's how you export your final videos. If you have any questions, you can feel free to reach out to us. Otherwise, I will see you later.